happy hello to you, friends. I hope you are doing well. You'll have to excuse my voice in this video because I have been a bit sick the past few days. So hopefully it doesn't sound too bad in the microphone. But yeah, today we are designing and brainstorming the culture of one of my towns in my work in progress story. This town is called Grasstide. I think I'll put a map up on screen for you. And it's kind of, it's got a little a label on it, but it's the southernmost human town, which is the cluster of towns on the right hand side. I'll mark it on the screen. But yeah, we're working on that today. I was feeling a little bit lazy, so I kind of just did some sketches with a ballpoint pen. My favorite ballpoint pen, which is just a JBower's 1.0 retractable pen. It's just like a standard pen that you get from Officeworks here in Australia. I don't know if it's available in other countries, but I really like sketching with this pen. You can get so many variations of like opacity and in texture also. Like if you push really hard, it kind of like has a much bolder, almost shiny sort of texture, but if you're like kind of like light and scratchy, it's got like a really like a pencil almost sort of texture. Anyway, what else? Today we are trying some different music. I've been really loving like soft, smooth jazz recently while working, so I thought I'd grab some, all copyright free. I'll link them all in the description below as usual, but I've been really enjoying that kind of jazz recently while working, so I thought I'd put some in the video, see how you guys like it. Also, just recently, so it was my birthday recently, and for a birthday gift for myself, I decided to buy myself some acrylic markers. I got the Art X acrylic markers, the 60 set, and I am absolutely loving them. I've been doing so much just like fun art with them, and I really want to make a video with them for you guys. I won't do a sort of review like I've done with the watercolors a couple videos ago. I'll just play with them for fun. And there's something about the Artex acrylic markers. So this entire time I have been like looking at these markers for like months, almost a year, and this entire time I thought Artex was art with 2 T's and then an X. So I've been calling it RTX, like Artix, for like the entire time I've been looking at these markers. And then I got them and I read the label and it literally has 2 R's and 1 T. So it's literally just Artex, and I'm just, ugh. How did I not notice? How did I not notice this? It's so, ugh. But yeah, that's like completely unrelated, but I really wanted to say that because I think it's funny. So I suppose I'll just get right into talking about Grasstide. Grasstide is probably the town that I most relate to because I have Irish heritage on my mum's side, and this town, at least the architecture and maybe some of the culture as well, is inspired by rural Irish and other Northern European towns. So the architecture is very, it's old. It's an old architecture style. Like you got like stone cottages, thatched roofs, like really old style, like doors and windows, like very simplistic, because this town, it's in the southernmost region of the human sphere, and it is, I guess, probably the lowest in the social economic classes. It's probably like the lowest, like low class sort of thing. Like it's made up of farmers and laborers because it's a farming town, so all of the all of the vegetables, a lot of the meat that can travel all comes from this village, and it's surrounded by a ton of farmland. So there is a town square with stores and some compact, like close together residential areas, but most of the citizens of this town are actually spread across a wide expanse of area across all of the farmland. So it goes on for like kilometers and kilometers of just like, I don't know if you like live in an area where there's farms, but there will be large plots of land with a farm and like maybe like 1 or 2 houses that house the families that service that farm. So there's a lot of those around this area. But yeah, so another thing is that the culture of this town is they're very strong believers in the older spirit lore. So if you haven't watched my other videos, I'll link it in the description where I go like a deep dive into my entire magic system. But basically there's spirits. There's the life spirits, the death spirits, the earth spirits, and the water spirits. And they produce mystic energy, which can be harnessed by the humans to create magic and like make mystic materials, which are like potions and powders and other little things that can like create effects and stuff. So there's obviously a bunch of old lore and folklore and legends and myths associated with the spirits because this kingdom is quite old, and the villagers in this town are strong believers of the older spirit lore, which isn't actually, not all of it is true. Like, I know this is like all hypothetical because it's obviously a story, but in actual, like what I've written to be true, the older spirit lore isn't always accurate, if that makes sense. So the old lore says that spirits create good and bad luck, and they can rub off a range of effects on people. This is not true. This doesn't actually happen. It's just like folklore that's associated with the spirits. Spirits definitely do hold a very important role in the balance of nature, and their energy is like what I said, causes mystic energy, which can be harnessed and used by humans. But they do not create good energy or bad energy that sways quote unquote luck. They just create neutral mystic energy that can be used for magic, which depending on the person can be used in a positive way or in a negative way. So because of all of this as well, there's shrines. So on all of the in almost every single household in this village, there will be a little shrine, like a little table with some candles and a little dish to put offerings on for the spirits, because of these beliefs that they create good and bad luck. It's kind of like you leave offerings for the spirits so you can show your goodwill, so that you can, I'm trying to say this in the most concise way as possible, but you leave offerings so you can show that you're good, and hopefully then the spirits will be like, okay, you're a good one, I'll give you some good luck. So the offerings can be things like food and flowers, and my recording just shut off, so we're just gonna keep going. But yeah, offerings, things like food and flowers, and it's kind of like, I suppose, I've like written in my notes here, it's kind of like how people treat the Fae in modern novels and old stories from Irish and other European folklore, because the Fae, fairies in that northern region is quite a popular part of folklore, so it's kind of like that situation, but like I said, it doesn't actually work that way in how I've written it. This is purely like stories in a story within a story. But yeah, so there's shrines, and there's also a temple. There's just one. It's like how most like villages have like one church, for example, but that also relates to the sigil. So that I've designed a particular symbol which represents a couple of things. So there's like a circle and a couple of teardrop shapes which represent each of the 4 spirits, and I'll put a little image of what it currently looks like. It's obviously subject to change, like everything that I'm telling you right now, because my story is still in quite an early stage. It's still in its early stages, so everything's subject to change. But going back, so there's the sigil, and it's basically found above houses, like about above doors. So it's like a wooden or metal plate which has the sigil engraved into it or embossed into it, depending what material it is, and it's like secured to above the door. It's found in windows, like in the window frame, you know, the metal bits that hold the glass, like how like in stained glass windows there's like images in the windows. It's kind of like that, but just with clear glass. And there's also, it's all over the temple, so it's a bit of a mix that is found above doors and on windows. And I kind of imagine that the temple would have stained glass windows with the sigil and maybe some other iconography in it as well. But yeah, so that's that. Like I said, I'll put an image of what it looks like on the screen so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So yeah, I kind of imagine above doors, maybe like on a rectangular plate next to the door handle sort of thing. So that's also like a symbol it's a symbol for the spirits to be like, show goodwill, I support you, like I believe in you sort of thing. Kind of like how in most religions, how there is some sort of iconography or what's it called? Like an action, a tradition, practice, a thing people do to honor their beliefs, their god or their gods plural, or other things like that. I'm not religious, but I have been doing some research into sort of that sort of thing, because it follows the same sort of ideas of how it would work, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's pretty much everything about Grasstide for now. I definitely do want to work on it more, just like how I want to work on all of the towns, because like I showed you on the map, there's 4 towns, I think. Yeah, there's 4 towns. There's the city, which is JuliusH, which is the it's up in the very north. That's the royal city where I haven't decided if it's run by a queen or a king or something or other, but it's definitely a royal family of some description. And then the next one down is Belmire, which is like a military town. I've explained all of this in my other video where I actually draw the world map. So if you want to get a detailed description of each of the towns, you can go watch that video. I'll link it in the description and maybe up in the corner for you. But there's Belmire, which is a military town, and a school institution town. So it's like financially run and supported by the military school and the mystic school, so like a magic school. And then down to the east and down a bit, there's Blackmouth, which is a fishing town, and it's like a lot of markets, and its whole culture is like surrounded by the idea of fishing and everything like that. And then there's Grasstide, which I've just told you all about. So I will, as I'm continuing to work on all of these towns, I will come up with more details, more information about all of them, and I will share a lot of it, because like my YouTube channel, it's all about me turning my story and my world into an actual thing, a graphic novel, if you didn't know. But yeah, so I will share a lot of it, but some of it I feel like I should keep secret, like you know, so it's not like fully spoiled. I mean, I'm not going to spoil like the actual story part of my work in progress story, like the actual like plot. I won't spoil any of that. But things like characters and world building, I'll definitely share as much as I can. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. So so that's all for now, I guess. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did the voiceover a bit different this time around. I was worried that the way I was doing it just felt really scripted and stiff, so instead of doing what I usually do for the so-called script, I've made it more note-like and kind of like dot points of what I wanted to cover. And I was really worried because I've never really I've never tried just like letting myself speak, you know? So I tried that this time and I quite enjoyed it. I think it went quite well. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. Keep an eye out for the video where I play with the acrylic markers. That will be very soon. And make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when that new video comes out, and also like the video too, please. And if you made it this far in the video, first of all, thank you. And also leave a bee emoji. Yeah, a bee emoji in the comments down below to let me know. And that is everything for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will see you all next time. Bye!